So I gotta do a little bit of a sidebar here. Sorry about the hair. I'm just trying to look like Brendan Fraser from The Mummy, and I'm growing my hair out. So please make fun of me in the comments, because I want to hear you guys roast me. Thank you. Hi, I'm Brady Pieper. Welcome back to another wonderful episode, hopefully wonderful, unlike the last one, of the Pieper Sports Podcast. There would have been 2 videos last week. One went fine, the other not so much. So please show your support so I know I can keep doing this. Like, comment, subscribe. I'll say it before the intro this time. But like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification so you can get notified every single time that every single time, I guess. But today, we have a few things I want to get into with the NHL, Colorado, sports teams. We'll talk a little bit about NBA, finish off with a little bit of Tiger Woods news. There are a few wonderful things in this world, and a great comeback story is one of them. Welcome to the Pieper Sports Podcast. Well, today we'll get started off with a little bit of news coming out of Colorado. As most of you know, I was born, raised Colorado, still live in Colorado, and go to college in Colorado. You know what that means? I'm a Patriot fan. And the Angels jersey might be a little bit confusing, but if you saw my podcast last week, you know I was in Los Angeles and spent way too much money on a jersey hoping it would get signed. It did not get signed. But we're all good. We're going to go back to my Colorado roots, however, and talk about the Colorado Avalanche and the Denver Nuggets. They have made the playoffs together this year. For the first time since 2010, nearly a decade ago, the Avs and the Nuggets made their wonderful, wonderful playoff runs together. Both teams are very, very talented this year, as most teams in the playoffs are. Nikola Jokic, Mikko Rantanen, both assist masters and strong playmakers that have the ability to score any night. The Nuggets have Jamal Murray and the Avalanche have Nathan MacKinnon, both skillful Canadian sharpshooters that can score in bunches. The Nuggets took the role as a team that came out of nowhere. They almost reached a playoff berth last year when the Timberwolves in the final game of the season trampled their playoff hopes. This year, the Nuggets are competing for the number 1 seed against the defending champion, Golden State Warriors. The evil, evil Golden State Warriors, as we all want to see them lose, but they never will. The Nuggets are favorites to make it far in this playoff run, although a slow playoff start with a loss against the Spurs. The Avs have a different story coming into the playoffs. They came into the year as one of the top cup contenders, although they have a very young team. But during the season, they started out fantastic. They started out with a great hot start, amazing top line in the entire league with Nathan MacKinnon, Gabriel Landeskog, and Mikko Rantanen. And they are the youngest team in the league, so they have a lot of growing to do. But during the middle of the season, they ended up sputtering and losing out on a lot of games and a lot of points. And the league and a lot of journalists started pushing them out of the playoffs, thinking that they weren't going to make it. But after a wonderful and tremendous rebound at the end of the season, the Colorado Avalanche make their way as the wild card 2 spot in the lowest seed that they could possibly make in the entire playoffs. They make it in. But they rebounded at a great time, and they carry a lot of momentum coming into the playoffs. The Avs, they're probably the most dangerous team in the playoffs right now. Calgary found that out the scary way, as good goaltending and hot scores like Nathan MacKinnon won in overtime, tying the series at 1-1. It is a very exciting time to be a Coloradan. The Nuggets and the Avalanche play almost every single night at the Pepsi Center. The Pepsi Center staff running their butts off. Now, other NHL playoff news. The Tampa Bay Lightning drop their third game of the series to the Columbus Blue Jackets, and I will say the memes are great. The President's Trophy winners are looking horrible to start the playoffs and most likely to end the playoffs tomorrow as they face off in their fourth matchup against the Blue Jackets in Columbus. Now, they have they won the President's Trophy, which means that they had the best record that you can have in all of the playoffs. Now, unfortunately for them, their big regular season contributors like Steven Stamkos and Nikita Kucherov have not performed well in the playoffs, making their playoff debuts this year and looking horrible. They may lose to the worst team in the Eastern Conference in the Columbus Blue Jackets. Unfortunately for them, it's going to make great memes, and it's going to be hilarious. They were my pick for winning the Cup this year. I had them in my brackets, my NHL playoff brackets. Yet again, my sports knowledge fails me, just as Duke did. And UNC. And Purdue. It's okay. Brackets are over. It's fine. I'm going to stop predicting things and just stick to fantasy where I belong, which, if you would like to see a fantasy series, I would love to show you guys my fantasy knowledge, and I will do that if you guys care for it. Otherwise, upsets in the NBA, as the NBA playoffs are under full swing right now. We have a few upsets which have kind of rattled the NBA world as there's drama with the 76ers. The 76ers dropped their first to the Nets. D'Lo, still my favorite underdog player after getting traded. It's pretty crazy. But the 76ers have drama as Joel Embiid and one of their bench players, Amir, were looking at a phone on the bench while the game was going on. Now, the drama there is that you shouldn't be looking at your phone during a game, just as you shouldn't look at your phone during work, but people still do. Now, athletes are still people too. Everybody uses their phones. It's completely natural. So don't get too angry about this. Don't overthink it. Apparently, Amir's daughter has an illness, and he was checking in on her, but Joel Embiid being involved with that was a little bit suspicious, and people were saying that it was just a lack of focus or a lack of energy or a lack of professionalism in the playoffs, and especially you got to be careful. I understand looking at your phone. I do it all the time, class, work, wherever, but be careful, Joel Embiid. Other upsets, the Raptors dropped their first game to the Magic. The Toronto Raptors with Kawhi Leonard and Kyle Lowry and Spicy P. They drop it. Yeah, they messed up. It's horrible. You can't lose to the Magic. Not in the playoffs. You better rebound this second game, or you're gonna look like pansies for the rest of the rest of the year, and we're not gonna stop laughing. Sorry, Canada, but you need to do better. Finally, the Nuggets dropped their first game to the Spurs after very, very close at the end of the game. They almost won it off of a tip-in shot, and then they almost tied it off of a three-point attempt that ended up being a turnover as Jamal Murray turned it over in the final seconds of the game, and the Spurs ended up winning. It is horrible to see the second seed get upset in the first game, but it's a 7-game series, so don't take too much of a bite out of it. However, if you're Tampa Bay and you're down 3-0, you're kind of screwed. I'll say 3-0 is kind of insurmountable. A 3-1 lead, as we see with the Golden State Warriors, is never insurmountable. The Warriors blew a 3-1 lead. I had to fit the joke in there somewhere because it's the Warriors. Now, if you saw in that Nuggets-Spurs game, Derek White, a Colorado native, went to Legend High School, dunked on his hometown team with a vicious dunk. Paul Millsap does not get paid enough to get dunked on like that. Actually, he has 31.3 million reasons why this year he deserves it. No, I mean, nobody deserves to get dunked on that viciously. It ends careers. Just look at Brandon Knight. Well, finally, we're going to finish off with a little bit of news about Tiger Woods in this episode of the Newsdrop. Tiger Woods makes his amazing comeback tour and finishes number 1, winning the Masters for the 15th time in his career. Arguably the greatest golfer to ever live, Tiger Woods has had a traumatic career plagued with injuries, Achilles, MCL, back surgeries. He made his comeback, and finally, after being knocked out of the top 1,000 golfers in the world, comes and wins the Masters and puts on the green jacket one more time, which I'm pretty sure is not going to be his last. But he puts on the green jacket, and it was a tremendous sight to see and a wonderful, wonderful experience if you ended up seeing it live. Although golf isn't the most entertaining sport to watch, it brings a tear to the eye of many who love sports and love comeback stories. Tiger is indefinitely one of the comeback stories you want to see because he hasn't done too many things that would make him seem like a bad person. Now, the entire sports world and sports media blew up when this happened. Tom Brady tweeted this as a result of the win. I love seeing other sports personalities. I love seeing other athletes support athletes as they make their careers and make wonderful, wonderful accomplishments. Tiger Woods, Tom Brady, 2 GOATs in their respective fields, and I love seeing the support that they give each other because it's really, really important nowadays. Now, all the sports looked to the world, or all the sports world looked to the putting green to see Tiger celebrate one more time, and it was a happy sight. That's what sports is. That's why I do this podcast, because it does a lot of happiness to me, and I hope does some happiness for you guys. And as I put more work into it, I need your guys' more and more to like the videos and view them and just give me the support, because I love to see your guys' support, whether it be comments, likes, a subscription, or anything, because I love what you guys... I love every single one of you that watches the videos because it makes me feel really, really happy. And if you make it this far, it blows my mind. It makes me really happy. Saying that, it is the end of this episode of the Pieper Sports Podcast. You know the ending outro's here pretty soon. So thank you guys. I love you. I'll see you all hopefully on Thursday. Otherwise, it'll be here next week with the Newsdrop. All right, bye guys.